The other day we had the joke of the Republican National Convention, where they were doing the debates. Obviously, it was nothing more than a fucking shit show, where it was nothing more than little kids. Um, it was nothing more than them arguing back and forth like little fucking kids. Now, Trump had skipped the national debate, had skipped the debate, and basically, and there was theories as to why he would skip the debate. Um, Now, Trump is skipping another GOP primary debate this week, and the theories abound as to why. Now, some paint it as a smart strategy while setting his opponents to take each other apart while he sails into the nomination for squatter. Now, others, including the right-wing editorial board at the Wall Street Journal, have accused Trump of being afraid to debate, but watching clips of some recent Trump Klan speeches, there's a different theory. His team, basically, Trump's team is worried that Trump will start talking about how he bested Teddy Roosevelt in a bear hunting competition before trouncing the 26th president in the 1904 presidential election. Now, Trump the other day said that he beat George Bush and Barack Obama in the presidential elections. Now, if that's the case, Trump will be considered a lame duck president, and he would not be able to run again. Now, now, as we know, Trump was never playing with the full deck, and never forget when he recommended us to drink bleach before cleaning COVID-19 from lungs. For cleaning COVID-19 from lungs, bleach is not a cure for COVID, and neither is hydroxychloroquine. But lately, however, his brain malfunctioning, as possible as it may be to believe, seems to get even worse. He appears to believe that he's won every presidential election in the last 20 years, instead of the one where the joke of Electoral College handed him the win against Hillary Clinton in 2016 despite losing the popular vote twice. Now, during a campaign stop in South Carolina, Trump spun out a whole story about defeating the famous military leader named Bush. Now, Trump says, "Oh, when I came here, everyone thought Bush was going to win." He rambled, saying it was because Bush supposedly was a military person, and then he added he got us into the Middle East. And how the fuck did that work out? Basically, now, Trump railed over Governor Jeb Bush of Florida in the 2016 GOP primary, but he appears to believe that he defeated the President George W. Bush, Jeb's older brother, who was actually the guy that got us into the Middle East when he invaded Iraq. Before bragging about besting two-term winner George W. Bush, Trump gave another speech boasting about his imaginary win against another two-term president, President Barack Obama. And he says, with Obama, we won an election that everyone said couldn't be won. He prattled on in a Klan speech in Washington, D.C. last week. In the same speech, he confused Obama with President Joe Biden and warned that if he didn't win in 2024, we would enter World War II, which basically, Trump being as stupid as he is, World War II ended the year before Trump was even born. Now, Trump likes to call Biden cognitively impaired, and basically Trump got widely mocked on social media for this, and the audience he's speaking to doesn't seem to notice that their Satanist is brain farting, and that's because Trump fans, as we've written about before, don't actually listen to their dear Satanist when he is talking. Instead, they wait for him to say some stupid shit that they can cheer, like lock her up, but otherwise they tune him out. After all, Maggot is an authoritarian movement based on tribalist politics. Merit-based systems allow women and people of color to rise up, which is intolerable to the GOP base. And what Trump says is not important, but what they like about him is that he's supposedly rich, he's white, he's a male, and he's a fucking piece of shit. And there's no way to know from afar what's going on with Trump. On one hand, he's 77 years old, and his own father had died from Alzheimer's. On the other hand, Trump's narcissistic behavior has long fueled a willingness to lie shamelessly about his own supposed accomplishments, from making up golf scores even pros can't achieve, to pretending that he had a chance with women who hated him, from falsifying charitable donations, to claiming his inauguration drew crowds that it did not. Now, claiming to have won elections that he didn't run in would be next level lying. And of course, you know how Trump is, he loves to lie, because he's told over 30,000 lies while he squatted in the White House. Now, plus, it doesn't explain really his confusing Biden with Obama, or confusing the two Bush brothers. Now, the likelier explanation is he's confusing his fantasies with memories, stuff that stuff that never happened to him. And nor does it explain how his social media presence, which was always ungrammatical and silly because Trump can't spell worth shit, has become even more unhinged and incoherent. Perhaps we've all become numb to it, but stepping and taking a step back. It's really remarkable that he regularly issues violent threats and fraud social that get ignored mainly because they are as incomprehensible as they are fucking terrible. Now, the press understands Trump isn't doing well is evident in the way that they all politely ignore him screaming for the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, which, like one, would smile patiently at a dementia patient yelling invective about long dead relatives. But of course, this is unbelievably unfair because the very same press is in an endless hyped up cycle about concerns that Biden, who does not issue grammar challenge murder threats regularly, is slowing down from age. Now, Biden is doing what Trump can't. Biden is showing that he can lead. Trump could not show that. Now, Biden is old, is swiftly turning into one of those self-perpetuating bullshit media cycles that only end up seeming to smear Democrats unfairly, such as Hillary Clinton emails. Basically, the Trump sycophants are still going on about that. Now, first, the press runs a million pieces on this non-story, creating the illusion of controversy where none of it exists. The voters start to parrot the concerns back in polls, concerns that they only have because they're being told by 24/7 news cycles to worry about this. They're talking about basically faux, is what I like to call it. And then those polls are used to justify even more coverage of a non-controversy, making sure a candidate is defined by something that was never a real problem to begin with. Now with Biden, the rejoinder is, but he actually is old. He's 80-something years old. But of course, so is Trump, because Trump's 77. Now worse is Trump is only 3 years younger, and he's clearly feeling his age a lot more than Biden, who does not forget what elections he ran in or how many world wars there were. Crucially, Biden isn't displaying the loss of impulse control that we see with Trump, whose baseline of self-control was not good to begin with. Trump struggles to get through interviews without confessing to his crimes, and good for prosecutors, but also it's a reminder that a man who can't be a passable steward of his own freedom has no business running this fucking country. As Salon's Heather Digby Parton had pointed out on Twitter, or what is known as X now, the press actually knows they're treating Biden and Trump very differently, even though the latter is way worse. Now, part of this is the same old both siderism that has cobbled Beltway journalists for decades. The press likes to exaggerate the flaws of Democrats while minimalizing the transgressions of Republicans in order to create a false sense that the two parties are an equal party, and they're not. They do this to seem fair, even though it's the opposite of fair to handicap one party so thoroughly. They also do it for market reasons, because horse race coverages benefits from false equivalence. Now, giving audiences clear and accurate information would take some of the sports out of it, and it gets to a downright silly level the closer the elections come to. A lot of the double standard is driven by perceptions of what the two voting bases care about. Mainstream journalists believe, with good reason, that Democratic voters care about qualities that like intelligence, competence, and mental fitness. They also believe that, with good reason, that Republican voters don't care if their candidates are babbling morons, as long as they're rich, white men and pieces of shit. Indeed, being seen as too smart can hurt you with the GOP base because they don't like anybody smart. They want dumbasses. And which suspiciously eyes intelligence as a gateway drug to rationality, so the Beltway press, in an attempt to be objective, ends up covering candidates through these perceived partisan biases. An old Democrat saying, a Democrat saying something wrong or off is news because his own party members won't like it, even if the mistake is inconsequential. But meanwhile, flat-out dumbassery or vote bigotry from Republicans is shrugged off because of the belief that their voters wouldn't give a shit anyway. Now, and it's true enough that most Democratic voters care about competence and most Republican voters do not give a shit. But that doesn't excuse the press's wild double standard on this. For one thing, it's basic journalistic ethics to report the truth without worrying whether the most loyal voters care. Like Faux doesn't report truth. But also, it's foolish to think that giving audiences greater context doesn't fucking matter. But there's a lot of swing voters, independents, and people who haven't decided if they're going to vote yet, and those folks can actually have their own opinions shaped by the information that they're taking in. If the media focuses on Biden's age while ignoring that Trump is even worse, a lot of those fair weather citizens may vote in ways that they come to regret, or they might not vote at all. And that's bad news in this environment, but especially bad considering how much of a threat Trump really is to our democracy and the nation's future. He was bad enough in his first term, and he's going to be much worse if he gets in. And don't forget that he attempted a Klan attack. So, as all Republican signs indicate, his already fragile mental state is getting more disjointed and reckless, and that's going to be fucking terrifying. Now, what may be more dangerous is that Trump's idiocy is that, while he's always been sociopathically impulsive and evil, he seems to be getting worse in his late 70s. So if you like the video, you can give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when a new video comes out. And if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find in the About section of YouTube. And for just a low of a few bucks a video or a month, your donation can help go a long way. And this video will be posted on all my other social media sites like Facebook, X, and possibly on TikTok. So if you want to check me out there, you can do that. And I'll see you guys later.